Today we are going to find out how good is a pair of Decathlon made boots and if they are worth it. Stay tuned. These are Quechua SH100X warm waterproof mid-hiking boots, and this is how they look after 1 year of use and several mountain paths and city walks later. Take a look.
Sweet apple pie, the kind you'd find in a gingerbread house. Only the wicked witch would ever feed you after she stole your soul, locked it in a box, and tossed the key down her Elizabethan bosom. This is the church in the sky of rainbows, flooding the earth after a post-apocalyptic meltdown of love and sanity.
Okay, before we get started, I have to mention that I have worn these during hikes myself, nothing too long or too hard, but I got to experience firsthand what these have to offer under light one-day hike circumstances and also taking them out on cold and rainy days in the city. But for now, let's start by discussing appearance. From the first glance, these look like a pair of nothing too fancy or technical boots that can also be worn in the city during the winter, and that is exactly what they are and can do. I have bought these in what Decathlon names carbon gray, but you can also choose from various alternative colorways for men as well as for women. Color-wise, these feature a subtle colored upper made from two main colors, the carbon gray mentioned earlier and dark grayish blue overlays, and two light orange accents, one being the laces and the other one in the heel area. Color-wise, these two perfectly match one another. Midsole is white snow and features black dots all around, and the outsole is also grayish blue, trying to match the overlays placed on the upper, and it almost succeeds. Its pattern looks capable and grippy, but more on that later. Now, the interior is almost entirely black, with the exception of the top plushy color hugging your ankle, that again sits in the grayish blue color that is once again trying to match the outsole and the upper's overlays and doesn't quite succeed. Insole is of course black, and a also black proper pull loop sits in the back, announcing this boot's intentions. Branding wise, the first logo we can spot is the Quechua one in the heel area, and then a waterproof tag just above it, a snowflake and snow contact carved into the midsole, and last but not least, another snow contact and snowflake mentioning also carved on the outsole. Okay, let's break down the materials used for these boots. The upper is entirely made from a synthetic malleable textile that also features a membrane that keeps water out but lets moist from sweat escape to the outside. Acting as mud guards on the sides and heel cage in the back and toes cage in the front, a rubbery-like, more rigid synthetic material was used all around these boots, double stitched to the upper. I find this material easily cleanable using a damp cloth. Nicely done. Just above that, in the back, we can spot an also synthetic overlay that has a leathery pattern but feels grippy like rubber. This one is more malleable than the one beneath, and in the front it goes all the way up where we can spot a patch of the same material stitched on top of the tongue. Laces are a combo between sneakers and boots laces with plastic aglets at the end and are passing through strap-made eyelets in the case of the first 4 pairs that are long and well stitched to the upper, and through 2 loops at the top that are made from metal. Taking into account that these top 2 pair of eyelets take the most beating, this was a good design choice that improved this boot's overall durability, and also the loops facilitate undoing the laces fast. We can spot the same strap used for the bottom eyelets but on top this time, making the loop to grab and pull these onto your feet. I always admire pull loops being used in regular sneakers too, but some of them are too short to properly put your finger through, and just grabbing the exterior sometimes is not enough and it slips away. But in this case, this is a proper pull loop, one of the greatest out there, and you can imagine the level of satisfaction that this gave me while using them. Speaking of pleasure, the whole interior, even on the tongue and the toes area, is made from a soft corduroy jeans-like material that finishes at the top behind the plushy color that Decathlon states is synthetic fur, but I will compare it with a plushy teddy bear that hugs your ankles. Now, also cute is the insole that is made from a not too thick of a foam finished in an also soft synthetic material. Midsole is medium stiffness EVA foam, and the outsole is 70% synthetic rubber and 30% I'll let you pronounce this one. In the cushioning department, we can spot proper padding in the ankle and heel area that is rigid and supportive but padded and comfortable, and also light padding can be felt everywhere throughout the boots, even in the front, on the sides, and of course inside the tongue to prevent lace bites. Okay, let's get down to business and discuss the features of these boots. Now, what are we looking for in boots? First of all, are these waterproof?
Sweet apple pie.
Well, yes. Decathlon tested these half submerged in water, and given that the upper and tongue are made from one single piece containing a waterproof membrane with no stitches, going up and surpassing the middle of the boot's height. Also, Decathlon states that they have tested the waterproofness of these up to 4,000 flexes, which is equivalent to 5 miles of walking in one go. Okay, the next important one is, can these keep your feet warm? Well, there it is in the name. X-warm. But what really keeps your feet from getting cold? First of all, the exterior membrane should reject water ingress and allow moist to exit, thus allowing your feet to breathe freely, thus staying dry, thus warm. Also, having the foot elevated and isolated from the cold snow comes second, and the synthetic EVA foam midsole is achieving that. Equally important are the interior lining materials that in this case are soft and plushy, and padding is placed everywhere throughout the boots, as I have mentioned before, and all of that helps with thermal insulation, and the teddy bear color we also discussed previously is meant to be thick so that it will successfully manage to keep the snow coming in uninvited. Bottom line, Decathlon states that this will be able to keep your feet in the comfort temperature at 21 Fahrenheit when stationary and 5 degrees Fahrenheit when active. Okay, speaking of comfort, what about it? The first surprise I had getting these on is their weight, or better to say, their lack of, because these are pretty lightweight, even more than I would have expected, and definitely lighter than any boots I have owned before. The second surprise was provided by the sheer plushiness that I felt taking the first steps in this. Yes, the EVA foam midsole is not as soft as you would get in some running sneakers, but it shouldn't be, because a more rigid midsole brings with it more stability to the boot, and that is exactly what you need on a hike. Also, contributing to the overall comfort, the getting in and out process is very important, and these are well designed, and with the use of the top metal eyelets and the big pull loop in the back, you only have to undo the laces at the top and pull the tongue, and you're ready to get them on or off. Now, also important in acquiring basically anything is the durability aspect, and with these, I was quite impressed with them keeping their composure after a couple of hikes and city walks. Keep in mind that these are a pair of $50 boots, and I'm starting to notice that the interior materials are beginning to become a bit squished after the break-in period, and maybe these are now half a size up inside, but overall I'm pretty pleased of how these have managed to withstand time and usage given their price. I am confident that the precise stitching everywhere and the long eyelets made from straps will manage to keep the upper from falling apart in the future. My only concerns are with the leather-looking grayish-blue overlays that these feature in the back part of the boots, that I don't know how they will hold up in friction and scratching situations, and my second concern is with the midsole's capability to stay put, given that it is not sewed to the upper and only glued. Also, you have to take into consideration that any material that acts like a membrane and is water repellent, while allowing the dampness to escape to the outside, has to be treated periodically during its lifetime to maintain its properties, and Decathlon also mentions that. In the capability department, of course, these are not as waterproof as some Gore-Tex boots out there, or as grippy as the ones that use Continental rubber for their outsole, like Adidas for example, but for the price, these are a great choice. The pair I'm holding is the mid version, but you can also find the high version that is made from natural leather and is, of course, as you would expect, more expensive. And because I have mentioned grippiness, although these feature a 70% rubber outsole that is specifically designed with snow in mind, hence the snow contact mentioning on the midsole and outsole, and the 3mm protruding capable looking crampons or studs, and indeed, these were great on snow, but at the same time, these are awful on ice, and that is to be expected, and even Decathlon states that for ensuring safety while walking on ice, you have to add anti-slip grids to the boots. But what really surprised me is that these are also awful on only wet surfaces, even paved ones. So even using these in the city on a rainy day is a gamble. The snow and dry conditions, on the other hand, suit these perfectly, and I encountered no issues. Now, scrolling to the reviews on the Decathlon website, I have found that these have a rating of 4.6 out of a total of 5 stars, with over 3.8k reviews, from which almost 3k are 5 stars and only 78 reviews are 1-star ones. Sizing wise, even Decathlon states that these run small, and I can confirm that I got these in half a size bigger than what I usually wear, and they fit okay, and even then I've been left with small blisters after my first hike. But after the break-in period, blisters were completely gone. What are your thoughts on these budget waterproof boots? Please leave any thoughts below. As for me, see you in the next one. What are your thoughts on these water budget boots?